Hi, everybody. Are you one of my pickles, my snowflakes, my turtles, or a member of the No Matter What Club? Well, I hope you are because it's just this slow, consistent, steady way of maintaining your keto food plan along with me, or even your carnivore food plan that keeps you heading towards the goal, eye on the ball, and a calmness that you only wish you had so many years ago, like mine. If I was working in that stressful job at the shelter that I used to have for women and children with substance abuse recovery, if I had the calmness of what keto has given me and its non-scale victory, then I might still be working there and not totally burned out on the stress of it. But the keto food plan definitely has brought me a quiet contentment, a calmness, a whole lot less anxiety. You don't have to do perfect right out of the box. You have to do what works for you. And sometimes they say when you first start keto to don't worry about counting calories, don't worry about anything except keeping your carbs very, very low. A lot of people just have a carb counter and that's all they worry about. They don't worry about the fats and the protein. Some not ever. Just as they go along and learn to keep the carbs low, learn to see how that feels, learn to see what it looks like. And for some of us, even learn to see what a carb is, because some of us might not even know what a carb is. And carbs lurk in a whole bunch of other places besides grains, sugars, and veggies. They can lurk in processed meats. They can lurk in some cheeses. They can lurk in a whole bunch. One of my clients has a tea that has half a carb in it. So it lurks in a lot of places, and we need to pay attention to that because we want to keep our carbs very, very low. And that if you're a keto newcomer, I guess that's part of the No Matter What Club, is to keep your carbs very, very low. We learn here that avocados are good for us, but some of us learn that avocados are so high in carbs, it's really unfair. It's just not fair. But that's how it goes. Unfortunately, there are a lot of carbs in avocados, and so we have to slow that down. We can't have one a day in safety and then have other things. So we need to go slow. We need to see what fits. We need to maybe track, maybe weigh and measure. I know that that's what I do. You don't have to if it's too much for you, too restrictive, you feel like you're being held hostage, don't do it. But if you need something to change up what you've been doing and you want to just do better, then maybe weighing and measuring and tracking could work for you. I use the Chronometer, which they have a free version as well as the $36 one. And so a lot of people look at that and find that, and they learn so much, not only about themselves, but about the amount of carbs that can be hidden in different items. And so a lot of us list in our chronometers absolutely everything we have, from supplements to electrolytes to beverages, and we can be amazed. But I think that's part of the point, is that if we were kind of helter-skelter and all over the place with what we did before, we need to have a running knowledge of what carbs are in our food plan. And even after giving up sugars and grains, there's still carbs looking out there. I know that some health professionals and doctors say have all the vegetables you want. They don't count. I know that some doctors and health professionals say limit to 2 cups. I know people like me and others that have such a low amount of carbs that it's like, well, why don't you just become a carnivore? You're having so few. Right now, the way that my journey is for me is I have the 50 grams of baby butter lettuce every day as my salad. And that's got a very low carb. I think it's 1.2 carbs for 85 grams. So I have a very low amount, and I'm only having the 50. And that is what works for me. On my Sunday, on the big green egg, I will have some cauliflower crumbles, some asparagus, and some Brussels sprouts. And I've definitely reduced the amount of grams I have of each since I've been more aware of veggies aren't necessarily my friend. If veggies are still something that you can have, that you can enjoy, then by all means continue to have them. But for some of us, as we get older and we get more and more simplified with our food choices, we find that, oh, that veggie never really liked me. It caused digestive issues. It could cause gas. It could cause bloating. So for some of us, it's like, I never knew. Now, some people go straight to carnivore, and then by eliminating everything in their world, they do that for a week or two, and then they begin to add back. And the reactions of what they're adding back can tell them almost immediately that it was that particular item. You know, like say adding back sour cream in their carnivore food plan. And then all of a sudden they realize, oh, there could be an allergic reaction to sour cream with this. Maybe I need to be more aware. Now, for some of us, we can have less of something that was aggravating our gut biome, our digestion, our just anything from the neck down, and realize that we can still have it in a smaller amount and enjoy it. But there's that like line of like where we used to go over. For me, that happened with green leafies. I was having between 150 to 200 a day in my great big ass salad. And suddenly it's like my stomach told me in no uncertain terms that like, game over, girly, got to give it up. So now I'm down to those 50 grams and it's working. I don't seem to have the same reaction that I had when I was having 3 to 4 times as much. So that's the stuff that we learn as we're plugged in and doing our keto. And it is so personalized. It is so your program and what works for you. You know, for some people, I mean, I'm considering myself kind of moving along to being a part-time carnivore, if there is such a thing. You know, you're going to have to pull that keto pizza out of my bony little fingers. I still enjoy that. I still enjoy my few veggies on Sunday. But during the week, I have just that little amount of lettuce. I could almost give it up and see what happens. We'll see. I'm not there yet, but so that's why I'm calling myself the part-time, because there's just certain things I'm not ready to give up yet, or maybe I don't need to give up. I'm not having the dire reactions that a lot of people have that make them go carnivore and not look back. It starts with like a medical issue or a physical reaction to something, and they find they're so much better off without it. I didn't reach that point, or I haven't reached that point. So it's just all good. And how you handle it is what is good. I remember like a year or so ago, my videos were focusing on the scale and the obsession with weighing yourself and just kind of funny. And now it's other things. You know, I know a lot of people that get kind of obsessed with their readings, their expensive readings with strips and blood and glucometers and all those sort of things. And it's kind of good, but it's going to, if it brings you to anxiety, you might look at it and say, maybe this is just too much. Maybe I should do just a once a week reading, or, have my doctor do an A1C, every few months just to see what's happening to me every few months and lowering it. Because I don't think that anxiety helps any reading, whether it's true or not. It's just my way of thinking, right? And so we go along and sometimes we track, weigh, and measure our food, and it's better for us. Sometimes we only pay attention to the carbs. It's better for us. Sometimes it's just none of the above, and we don't weigh, we don't measure. We just know that if you have a hunk of meat with a pat of butter on it and, 4 or 5 asparagus stalks, that you're in a pretty good place with your keto food program. And I don't know, I would just assume that I was in ketosis if I was having something as reserved as that, which I kind of already am. It's just instead of the asparagus stalks, it's the 50 grams of the baby butter lettuce. And that's today. Who knows? I could wake up tomorrow and think I'm going to get that Keto Mojo from Amazon with some strips and just do a once a week testing just to see what I'm doing. I do have the Keto Pea Sticks, excuse me, but after being on a keto under 20 food plan with no deviations, I mean, anything that shows up on the stick is what I'm peeing out, not what's inside. So a blood measurement or the breath one is a much betterer indicator of what's inside of you, if you're understanding what I'm saying. Because once you pee out and it shows on the stick, that's what you're peeing out. Just like with the vitamins, sometimes we pee out very expensive vitamins. And so I don't drink as much water as I used to. I do have my Garistoller, my Mountain Valley, or my San Pellegrino every day. And I do have it's probably 18 ounces of triple filtered water from home, from our filter, with my electrolyte powders in the morning first thing with the juice of one whole lemon. And then some days I have, and then I have my second with my supplements. So I do get a lot of liquids. I stop drinking water about an hour before I eat, so the digestive juices have a free range of just doing what they're doing and they're not waterlogged. And I don't have any water after I'm done with my OMAD, my 1 meal a day. It's just something that I've always kind of practiced, and it works. So I'm not getting up in the middle of the night. I still get up once, but not a lot more than that. And it just works for me. And if you're curious about that digestive juice thing and adding water to it, Google it. Google, like, what is that wacky broad Sarah talking about? I shouldn't have this, 9 million glasses of water like I've always been taught. No, maybe you don't need to, but make your own decision, see what works. I know that mine is heavily salted water. My bottled waters are, they're mineral waters, so there's minerals in them. I know that I put Celtic salt crystals on my tongue before swigging down my triple filtered water, just to get another little surge of the sodium into my body. It's just little things that I do that work for me. Am I telling you that you have to? No way, Jose. I'm just saying this is what I do. If you haven't done it and you feel, tired or lethargic or like something's not working for you, your joy of life, your joie de vivre isn't what it used to be, maybe it's electrolytes. Maybe it's, being bogged down by having too many meals in a day. Maybe OMAD is for you, 1 meal a day. Maybe the intermittent fasting is just exactly what you need. Who knows? Only you can tell what works for you. And that's why I love this. And so, of course, for me, listening to lots of different people talk about how they do their version of keto or carnivore helps me along the way, because I'm going to hear things that, like, oh, I never thought of that. I never did that. Oh, I wish I had. Now I'm going to try it. And so it just helps. And then I try something, and sometimes it's incorporated into my keto carnivore lifestyle. And then other times it's like, not for me. No, thank you. And so, I wish the same for you as well, to try something out. Give it, I elicit pinky promises out of people that I work with to just try this for a week. See what happens. See how you feel. You don't have to continue with it if it doesn't work or there's no reaction or it's just like, not for me. But try it. Just be willing to try it. If somebody is hiring me and paying me their good money to learn how to do something, I feel it's my obligation to at least have them try something different, because who knows, we could have been doing it wrong all along. And until we tried it, we didn't know we could feel better. For a lot of us, we don't know that we weren't feeling optimum until we feel optimum. It's like, oh, that feels pretty darn good. So just wake up in the morning, and in addition to being, I always ask for another abstinent day from food issues, right? Just a nice, clean sailing day of great food, no obsessiveness, what works. And I also asked to be willing to see other ways of doing something. It's just what works for me. So thank you so much for listening. I hope that you got something out of this. If you need extra help, I offer one-on-one, phone and or email or both services at ketocoachingsarah.com. And for the rest of you wonderfully successful people, keep posting in the comments. I get so much from you, and I know others do too. Thank you so much for watching. This has been Sarah, Pearls of Wisdom and Food with Keto. And today I am 3.9 total carbs, and that's where I like it. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye for now.